Out of the top 15 players statistically at Masters Berlin, only one of them is a Sentinel main. I'm about to explain why Gambit's Viper and Cypher player Nats is the best aggressive lurker in the world. Also, thank you so much guys for helping me hit 50,000 subscribers already. This round starts off in the worst way possible for Gambit. Meanwhile, at A site, Nats has this Viper setup ready to go. I noticed that he changes his wall and smoke positioning pretty often to make slight differences in how he wants to approach the site. In this case, he has a Viper wall here and a smoke orb here blocking lamps. These two pieces of utility let him sneak up into a cubby and then push out onto the site while only having to watch this skinny lane for enemies. Nats takes the point and pushes his way into lamps for a kill, and this secures the plant. In this round, we get to see an amazingly nerdy setup from Gambit. They start off by throwing up an Astra Cosmic Divide with a Viper wall just on the other side of it, so anyone pushing the Astra wall gets decayed by the Viper one. Then, with a Sky Flash leading the way, Gambit storms into lamps and Nats pops his ultimate inside to deny the entire area to Envy. He mollies off the back entrance to lamps to stop any further pressure from there, and then check out how his ultimate covers the plant spot to make defusing extra difficult. Then, knowing that rotations are coming from B site, Nats orbs on the edge of his Viper's pit to create an extra layer of deception and pushes into it even though he tanks a shock dart for his trouble. He then picks up his orb and ends the Viper ultimate at the same time to clear his vision while leaving his toxic screen up to give him the cover to push out onto the back corner of the site. Finally, he drops his wall as well and peeks for a third kill. And though Gambit loses the round, I wanted to share just how complex this play actually was from just Nats' perspective. This is another super nerdy setup from Gambit's Sentinel players. Almost every round, Nats has been throwing his poison orb here to cover mid or lurk through it, and to counter this, Vision Strikers have been putting an alarm bot in the smoke to stop that play. In this round, Gambit charges forward before the alarm bot can be placed, and they throw up a Viper's pit that completely blocks off any rotation for the defenders through the middle of the map. They even place a Sage Wall here to make sure that nobody can get into the pit from the defender's spawn undetected, and this isolates the players on the A site from their team. The only way that Vision Strikers can help their players on A site is to long rotate all the way through either the attackers or the defender's spawn. And as Reyna and Jett push on to the site through A main, Nats and Redguard duck out of the pit into screens and trade out the Killjoy who is playing on rafters before pinching in on the remaining defender guarding the site. The very next round, Gambit has Vision Strikers on an eco buy, and Nats throws his customary orb middle, and then sits behind the shipping container waiting for the likely push from the defenders who need to get information with their weaker weapons. He drops the orb, and Vision Strikers eventually oblige by trying to take mid control and paying the price. Nats then resumes the orb and continues to hold the same angle while the rest of his team executes up B main, and this will likely force Vision Strikers players to again rotate through middle. Nats is rewarded for his patience by another player trying to clear middle, and he knows that the other players must be on their way, so he confidently swings out to find a third and fully secures the round for his team. In this play on Breeze, Nats starts the round by quickly camming into middle and then throws a cage to block off Double Door in response to the defending Reyna's Leer. Then, because his team is rushing the B site with Seekers, he immediately doubles back to take the rope up into halls, and this is because he expects G2 to rotate through middle to reinforce B. On such a long flank, timing is crucial, and you'll see him initially walk his way over to the ropes, but as soon as G2 starts to pressure the B site with a retake, Nats sprints his way up hall to get into G2's spawn. A lot of this is made possible by team communications, but he is also likely watching the minimap to spot how many players he can see himself. As G2 collapses onto B's site, Nats collapses in behind them and takes out Sova. He also knows that he needs to be even more aggressive here to draw the attention away from his cornered teammates. After throwing a cage, Nats charges into it and hits a perfect timing on the opping Jett, who missed their blind shot. He then swings to the right and catches another G2 player, and then distracts the Viper while his teammate finishes the kill. The timing of this play completely saved the round for Gambit, as G2's Reyna was flanking in behind Gambit on the site just a second or two later and likely would have found a couple of picks. It's crazy that a player with the most kills at Masters Berlin only played Viper and Cypher for the entire event, but after watching Nats play, it's much easier to understand why he is such a devastating force, and hopefully you can use some of these ideas in your own games.